Hi everyone, it's Tracey here from Art Fibre Stitch. We've been working on this for quite some time. A nice gum tree. First episodes we looked at making some Tyvek bark. Really nice gum tree trunk. Then we added in some running stitch into the middle ground. We've been playing with Lutradur. Now we're about to do the leaves. Now let's look at the whole thing. See how it's led up? It's led your eye up to the leaves. Well, that's what we're working on next. Tricky. I've left this to last because I really don't know what I'm going to be doing. So I'm just grabbing out some fabrics. I want to use that orangey one. That's a organza. This one here is a linen. I like the color. And so I'm going to start. Well, I like to look at fabrics. Look at this. Can you see how I'm cutting sideways instead of properly? That gives me a nice ragged edge. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to manipulate this so that we get gaps in the weave. And then that allows the background to show through. I do this a lot. You'll see me doing this a lot. And you know, it'll calm down that big blob of orange that I've put in. I like it. But it'll all depend now what we do, whether it works or not. Gum trees don't normally have a lot of orange leaves. Maybe when they're shedding, they get pinky orangey colour ones then. But you know, artistic license. Now this piece here I tried to play with. But it's nylon and it was very frayy and a mess when I tried to cut shapes from it. So I've decided I'm going to manipulate it further and see what it does. I've noticed it also has a loose weave, and I have figured out that I can actually make this lovely bubbly texture and make leaf shapes by pulling the weave apart. So that will do for me. That'd be excellent. And I can see through it, you see. So I could also, depending which I put on top, which underneath, I can obscure things, I can bring other things out. And I'll probably play around with all of those fabrics, trying to make it the way that I want it to be. I've also got this. This is a net, a mesh kind of net, and it's really good. I could pop that down. That would help to hold things down, actually. I haven't really thought this through. I'm going to design on the fly here. But I'm thinking, what else? Well, I've got this Lutradur that I used down in the foreground when we made some bushes. It cuts perfectly. It's a very ultra fine one. It's shiny. It might be all right. Well, let's play. You can see I've started to make leafy kind of shape edges. And yeah, I'm just trying to make it so it's not square edges on this, you know, more like a tree, basically. I'm not going to town. I'm not sort of trying to cut each individual leaf. I'm just trying to cut an edge that looks more natural. See? But you can't really see through this one. That's what I'm noticing putting it down. I mean, it looks great. It's good colour. But I'm thinking now I'm going to try to cut some bits out. So, I've just knocked the camera there. But you can see what I'm doing is I'm trying to poke a bit up with my fingers behind and cut little bits out. And so I am hoping that what we'll end up with is something that will allow the other colours to peep through. You know, it's really hard to imagine. Do I want it on the top? Do I want it on the bottom? Do I want it in the middle of our layers? But can you see how layers of different fabrics and they all have different qualities. You know, that's what I look at. I look at a fabric. I create a color palette of different fabrics, collect bits and pieces, and then I look at how it moves, how we can use it. Is it see-through? Is it a loose weave so I can pull it apart? Or is it crisp like this and it'll cut really distinct shapes? So much different stuff there to explore. So that's what I'm doing. Now let's just think about this for a little minute. I've got the green, yeah, that was the linen. It's a really fine linen, so it's really good. I do like that, but it needs a bit of body, doesn't it? It needs a bit of darkness, it needs a bit of colour to it. So like I say, it'll all depend on how these things get layered and what I end up choosing to do. Whether it'll work at all, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Now I'm speeding this up a bit because you really don't want to see me procrastinate. But this is what it's all about. When you're working something out and you've never seen it done before, you just play, you just try different things that you think might work. It might not. But it doesn't matter. You're learning all the time. Every time you experiment like this, you're getting ideas. And then maybe next time you'll bring this into something else. Like imagine that Lutradur, if I cut it and I use shapes like that as coral in an undersea kind of picture. That would be perfect for that. And, layering, I don't know where I've come up with this, but it certainly is working for me. Different colours. I like colour. I like to bring in loads of colour. But yeah, you can see how it needs something, over the top of it maybe. Is it too much? Do I want it disappearing out? Do I want it further down? It will be something that I play with quite a bit. So do experiment and try different ways and see what looks good to your eye. It's only your opinion that really matters. You're doing your own artwork, and it doesn't matter. But I like just going with the flow. I think that's what I'm doing. I'm sort of not worrying too much. Now see this net. Remember I was thinking about how it would hold everything down a little bit whilst I sewed. So I think that is the go. I've also got this Lutradur that we painted back in the very first episode. But no, I don't know. Like I say, there's plenty of this, I want there to be areas where there's nothing. Because, if you look up at a tree, there's gaps where you see the sky and things like that. Yeah, just have a look at a tree yourself and see what it is that you want to portray, because this is not a photograph. This is a representation. This is what I think is going to produce the mood of the tree. I hope so. So here I am cutting out some more Lutradur because I thought, that looks quite nice. I might put some more on the other side. So I'll cut something to start with. If it doesn't work, I'll cut some more off it. And the bits won't go to waste. I can use those bits underneath something else some other time when I want to create layers. See? I think that looks pretty good. And I know maybe the leaves are too big, I don't know, but I'm not aiming for realism here. I'm just aiming for something that appeals to me. So like I said, this is a new technique for me. I'm trying it, I'm having a go, and it takes some mucking around to get it the way you want. Do you ever have it exactly the way you want? Well, probably not. You're always thinking of ways to improve as you go. But I'm going to be happy enough in a moment to stop, I hope, and then we can start the stitching. So whilst I'm doing my last bit of tweaking here, trying to decide, I want some of that trunk to show, for example. I don't like that block of orange. It's just too orange up there. I might have to do something there. I was originally thinking I'd put in another trunk there where that bark is that we made, but I don't think I will. So I'll just move that bark a little bit so that it just looks like it's peeling off. I did have it sticking off the edge because I thought, well, it could be where a branch comes off from the trunk, but changed my mind. And what I'm looking at now is putting that net on the top of all of these layers. What I'm doing is I'm pulling it apart a little bit too, so it's not quite so uniform. It'll stretch a lot as well. See here? Holding it down, all those layers flattening. Well, that's going to be better than dealing with all those little tiny bits, isn't it? So there we are. I'm going to bring it down as far as, you know, we've got lines of hills there disappearing. I think yeah, I don't think you're going to notice it too much. I think it'll be all right. But it'll depend on what we choose to do with the stitching. Let's have a close look at some of these layers though. Doesn't it look pretty? I love the colours, the blend of colours. I am starting here with a variegated thread. It's got browns and greens and gold kind of colours, which is perfect. I've threaded a needle. I don't get worked up about what needle, as long as it'll fit through that eye. I'm happy. And as long as it has a point, so it'll go through, or pointy enough that it'll go through the fabric without making big holes in it. So I'm just doing at the moment some long stitch, or really it's like a seed stitch I'm doing. A seed stitch is where we go in different directions, and I'm doing it with a longer stitch than I would normally do a seed stitch. So that's basically, I'm doing a stitch slightly longer to emulate leaves, long and pointy, but then occasionally, that's just to trap it down, but then occasionally I'm going to do a running stitch, like here, where I go in and out, in and out, in and out, and I'm going to do a leaf shape. So not too different. And I'll make sure that that net comes down over all of the bits and pieces, and it gets attached with either a long stitch or you know what I mean, a seed stitch, or this this sewing line here that we do that's vaguely leaf shaped. You'll see what I mean in a minute. And that's it. I'm not going to go to town. I could, and that brings up another subject. When are you finished? And the thing is, you're finished when you want. I look at this and think, oh, I could do so much more to that trunk. I would like to have, yes, a lot of darker areas there on the edges that stands out against the background. You know, whilst I'm working on something, I look at something and think, oh, yeah, I could do that, I could do that. But some things don't require it. I mean, I can certainly do more here, but see these here? See these leafy shapes and how we've gone around some of them, and we've just got cut out bits that are leaf shaped, and then sometimes just these simple plain stitches, long stitch. Let's have a look at it in its entirety. See, from the bottom we've got these lovely bushes, and we go up through the middle, and we're led almost up to this area here, the tree. And I've got it just about done, I think. I'm having a look to see if there's other bits I don't like, but this is giving you a better view of how I've sewn it. You can see there I've got the long stitches and sometimes those running stitch shapes. But see how your eye leads you? It leads you through the picture, up through the mountains and up to the leaf canopy. So I think we've done quite well, and we've really explored this to its maximum, I think. This is textile art in the extreme. I've been really glad that you've joined me and followed me through whilst we're thinking how to do this kind of thing. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you have enjoyed it. We do plenty of all kinds of stuff. Don't forget also you can leave a donation should you wish to. And thank you again for watching. Don't forget to leave comments so I can find out what you think. Okay, bye.